Coronavirus is everywhere, all over news and stuff. But the reason I thought it would be good to bring it up today would be on the potential impact it's going to have for business.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of YouTubers, dropshippers, people who have online businesses.
That's the first thing that I thought, because when I saw the all the footage that's been coming up on BBC and online, obviously they've shut down the city, completely shut it down. It's like no man's land.
Wuhan.
Yeah, it's just completely shut. Like, there's nothing there. And I saw all these shops and I'm thinking, imagine if somebody just said, right, you're all in quarantine and you're shutting down your business. I'd be like, that's just not, how can you do that? I've got to pay a mortgage. You can't just tell me to stop trading.
Yeah, and what if you only had like one day's worth of food in the kitchen and you can't, all the local shops are closed and what are you meant to do if you're a local resident? Yeah.
My web developer's in China at the moment, so I don't know what's going to go on with him now. He's there on holiday, so...
Is he really?
Yeah, he's on holiday there. I'm like, oh.
So I reckon a good way to like just sort of cover this topic is we'll give a quick intro into what the coronavirus is, just in case you're the 1 in a million person listening to this who hasn't heard of the coronavirus yet. But yeah, I think it's just gonna be really cool to drill down on and just talk about. I've got an article up from a business blog just talking about what impact it's going to have for dropshippers, for YouTubers that maybe get their merch sourced from China. And just give some advice maybe to any of our listeners on what they can do if they're a business that has production in China. So I reckon to explain what coronavirus is, our resident expert Joe should probably give it.
I'm so happy I thought you were going to say our resident expert Josh. I'd be like,
because Joe's been looking at this like night and day.
I've been looking at it a lot, and I think, in my opinion, I think it's quite scary actually. I've been listening to H3 and he's been going on about it.
H3 podcast.
Yeah, H3 podcast it's a hot topic at the moment, isn't it? And I think it's gonna go worldwide. I'd be very surprised if it's not in the UK already.
I don't know if my statistics are actually true, right? But 100 and something people have died, yeah?
I saw 170 when I read
like
it yesterday.
100.
That's what they say.
Like, let's say 100 people's died this year. Apparently last year, 500 people died because of hippopotamuses. So that means that you're 5 times more likely at the moment to get killed by a hippo than you are coronavirus.
Did they die in like a 20-day period?
Did you die
from a hippopotamus attack?
So SARS, that actually killed, 400 people over a 4-month period.
It
only infected 7,000, I think.
Right.
Whereas this coronavirus has already infected around 9,000 in less than a month.
Mad, yeah. And so the fact that it's meant to be more contagious, isn't it, than previous epidemics like SARS? It's killed 170 already in China. There's been cases reported in the US. I saw the other day, India, and I think if it spreads in India, that's scary. That's scary because if it's killing that many people in China, you think how densely populated China is. Think how densely populated India is, and
in like the slums and stuff.
The level of income in India, I'd imagine retrospectively, it's probably lower than China. So access to healthcare is probably lower. So that is going to be a breeding ground where it could spread even worse than in China. So it's in India. I think some people were flown back to Scotland with it in the UK. Joe and I were just chatting last night. The World Health Organization have labelled it a global epidemic now. It's been officially labelled a global epidemic.
I have been under a rock and I didn't think it was that bad. Like it's just been sort of like over there in the background. I've not really paid much attention to it. So
these kind of things have an infectious level, and I don't think it's definitely confirmed yet because it keeps going up and down, but they're estimating it's about a 3.5, which means that 3.5 people around you are most likely going to get affected.
If you get it, and then you're typically going to affect 3.5 other people.
Whoa.
So that's bad. You've probably seen the news articles and stuff already talking about this, how quick it's spreading, amount of people are dying. Wuhan province in China, where it originated, been completely shut down, as you mentioned before. 50 million people live in Wuhan province. So 50 million people can't leave that area. They're blocked in, the roads have been closed off, dump trucks have dumped dirt on the roads so you can't drive out of the area. They're told not to leave their flats, so there's just 50 million people living in a ghost town, pretty much.
Can you imagine? It's like all I can think of nowadays. Have you seen the Simpsons movie where they put the dome over Springfield? Yeah. That's all I can think about. But that is like 50 million people.
It's crazy.
It would end up turning into like The Walking Dead. It's going to be like they'll have end up having a civil war or something, won't they? Because
block all roads off and everything.
Because you're just being dictated to. But it's just terrible.
So, like I said, the reason I brought this up is a lot of people who watch this video and follow my channel have got online stores where they have suppliers in China. Maybe there's YouTubers where their merchandise comes from China. What's the impact it's going to be for you? Because okay, your production might not be in Wuhan province, but if this spreads to the rest of China, it's going to have a crippling effect for your production company. I know a lot of factories have been shut down already in China, and imports and exports are either being stopped or they're being really delayed because they have to be screened for the virus before they leave the country. So yeah, it's going to have a pretty bad effect for sort of anyone selling in the online space that sources their products from China.
Definitely.
You know what? I won't mention the name, but we've recently lost a client who does freight forwarding. So it's all shipping, containers, and all that sort of stuff. And they were struggling, like really struggling as a business because of Brexit and our relations with America and the exchange rate, because it's fluctuated so much. They're very, very much a volume-based company. So they only make a small margin on a lot of products being shipped off or air freighted around the world. And then they have actually got an office in China. Mm-hmm. So I've not spoken to him because, again, we've recently had to sort of part ways because they've literally just cut all the marketing budget. But this could actually finish that business off. And it's like the companies, I believe, were a £60 million turnover business, currently got 40 plus employees. And now this will be like the straw that breaks the camel back, I think.
I'm not sure how it will affect them, but I can definitely see it affecting dropshipping businesses. Yeah. Such as, I don't know where Wayfair, did you know that Wayfair, they're a dropshipping business?
I didn't know.
Just in case there's any listeners listening that don't know what dropshipping is a business model where you set up an online store online, but you don't actually have any of the products yourself. All of the products come from China. So when your store gets an order come through, you basically you forward that order to China, and then the Chinese supplier sends that order straight to your customer. So you're basically selling a product without having anything in your own factory or your own storage area. So yeah, the problem here is if your supplier in China can't operate business anymore, you've still got your store up and running, you're getting orders, but you can't fulfill those orders.
So I'm not sure whether Wayfair gets their stuff from China, but they do drop shipping. So do they order it from somewhere in the UK and then send it out, or from America? I'm not sure, but if companies as big as that get affected, it's going to be crazy.
Saw a news report saying that Apple has been affected. They've had to shut down Apple stores over there. Some of the big FTSE 100s and like big American companies I think they did their end of week report or end of day report, and 27 of the big companies had mentioned the coronavirus as impacting profits for that day. Yeah,
I can't believe it's that bad. Like I guess I have been under a rock. I know you were making fun at the beginning, but I didn't realize it had got to this extreme.
Yeah. So what can you do if you're a dropshipper, online seller that has products sourced from China? I found this article which Joe's got on screen now, and if you scroll down, I skimmed read it earlier, but there are some tips towards the bottom on what you can do. I think if you're a seller. So I'm a dropshipper. What should I do? I can't read that. Can you maybe read something like that?
With many manufacturing and logistics facilities shut temporarily, we recommend you prepare for delays and just take that into account before continuing to run paid ads and take orders. It's a good idea to check with your supplier, but assume that your items will not be shipped promptly. So maybe send out like an email marketing and just explain that you're having some issues, and take a hold on putting Facebook ads on and Google ads, and then look at it from there.
For sure, yeah. You definitely need to stop sorry, one sec. Extremely slow down the amount of traffic coming to your store at this point in time, because you could be getting orders that you can't fulfill. So turn off the ads for sure. And then if you've had any orders come through already, I guess you might have to get on the phone to either your supplier in China, see if they are still operating and sending packages out of China, and maybe contact the customers that have made those orders and say, we're really sorry we've been affected by the coronavirus outbreak in China. It's going to be a lot longer before you receive your product.